as an athlete, I wanted to be an athlete, and there was really nothing that was just going to stop me in my mind.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneur the Playbook, and this is a special treat for me. Number one, because I'm a Padre fan, but I'm with James Shields, super pitcher, but most of all, an entrepreneur here in Rancho Santa Fe. And we have Cryotherapy is your new business. And I really want to get into how you got here, because so many people want to know, how do you start a business? And I always say, if an athlete can start a business, anyone can, because you live two deaths, right?
Yeah.
You live your whole life playing, and then you stop playing, and it's like a death. And then somehow you got to transition without knowing anything too much about business, because you have to stay pretty focused to be a pitcher. Talk about your journey, and we'll talk about the youngest of three boys.
Yeah.
How did that affect your journey as far as the character that's necessary to build a business?
Growing up, my mom and dad, they were always pushing me to just live out my dreams, really. Doing everything we possibly can, whatever I was into, it didn't even matter. As long as I went full bore at it, it didn't even matter what I did. And excuse me, but growing up, I always had this aspiration of being an athlete, right? Being a major league baseball.
What was it, baseball only, or what sports?
Well, I liked dabbled in hockey a little bit. Wasn't very good at hockey.
For a Southern California kid, hockey's not a big sport to get involved in.
Yeah, I love the Kings growing up, and we used to go down to where they used to practice in their facility out there in Northridge, and but I liked hockey. I liked all sports. I liked golf. I liked baseball. I had a really big passion for baseball. We lived at the baseball fields every day. I had two older brothers.
Were they any good, your brothers?
Yeah, they were solid. Yeah, they were better. They were better at beating me up than they were baseball players, I guess. But we always played it outside together, and we pushed each other every day.
Do you think it would be an advantage being the youngest, that you had to keep up with them or try to beat them?
I always wanted to keep up with my older brothers. There was numerous times where I wasn't even allowed to play with them, but I was bugging them every day just to play in that one game, that one pickup game, street hockey game. It didn't even matter. I was always wanting to get in there, but they were big. They're big components in my success, growing up. So just really pushing me as hard as I possibly can, and things like that. So growing up is as an athlete, I wanted to be an athlete, and there was really nothing that was just going to stop me in my mind. That was going to be an athlete. So
it must have been nice, number one, to have parents that were fully behind your dreams. Like whatever you wanted to be, they put it in your mind that you could be. And I always say, dream big, but if you can't see it in your mind, most people have so many people telling them what they can't do.
Yeah.
If you can't even see it in your own mind, you're never going to get there. When there's always a switch with siblings. I grew up with 5, and it's interesting because you're always trying to prove something to your siblings, and then there comes a point where they become your biggest fans. And I thought it was an interesting switch, right? Where all of a sudden they're living through you, not against you anymore. Did that happen with your older brothers as well?
Yeah, they always, they're obviously proud of what I've accomplished. They're very fully supportive of everything I've ever done. And I think more than anything, I think they're just they are fans, and they are fans of what I'm doing, and it's always good to have that support, as a brother or mom and dad or whatever. But at the end of the day, my parents, they actually tell me to this day, they're like, man, there was times where you would say things, and I think you were crazy.
That's a good thing, by the way.
As far as my dreams go, I would be outrageous. It'd be off the wall,
being a major league pitcher for 13 years, is that correct?
Yeah, 13 seasons.
13 seasons. Yeah. Any kid that sits there. I remember playing golf with Phil Mickelson. Tina was my senior prom date here in San Diego, and I played golf at Stardust, which is where, here in Friars, that used to be Stardust, a private country club. He looked at me, shot 66, and I'm like, so he's 14 years old. I'm like, Phil, so what do you want to do? He's like, I'm going to win the Masters. Like, not I'm going to be a professional golfer. He goes, I'm going to win the Masters. And while I played with him and thinking about it, he said a 66. I'm like, you know what? I can't see any reason why he won't win the Masters. You're not going to get any worse. The 66 is going to be right in there eventually. You know, you had that confidence playing, it seems like. When guys have outrageous things that they say, like Branson's a friend of mine, he says like crazy stuff, you know, but yet he achieves it. Like, I'm going to go around the world in a balloon. What about business though? Like, were you as cocky and as confident when you finished playing, going, I'm going to start this business? And I'm sure, like, give me something, a wild dream that you have for business.
I mean, honestly, like, I always wanted to own my own business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. But I didn't have the confidence. You know, there's no doubt. Definitely didn't have the confidence I had in baseball and the talent I have there. But, you know, but I'm a very driven guy, and you know, I do have the confidence in my ability to be successful because of how hard I work. And at the end of the day, I think you know, I believe everything's going to be successful. It's a matter of how hard you work and what kind of time you put into it, and you know, the people around you, and you know, the team that you have. So you know, one of the things the reason why I started cryotherapy was because. And I'm sure we'll get into this here in a minute, but was, you know, I'm big on wellness, and I'm big on you know, health and wellness, and being able to fix your body, to be able to just stay alive, you know, and be happy. I feel like everybody who's into health and wellness, I feel like this place is a better place with it.
What I like about cryotherapy is it is all levels of wellness. Right, because I think a lot of people, you know, there's a holistic approach of, you know, make sure like gut health is important, right? But cryotherapy affects not only internal organs of ours, the systems that we have, our heart, our nervous system, all of that, but also I believe in inner and outer beauty. And cryotherapy has a lot of effects of that we look better, so then we feel better. And that confidence, as you know, is critical. We talked about it in your sports career. We talked about it in the entrepreneurship side. You know, give me a little bit of details of, you know, the wellness effects of cryotherapy, and, you know, because obviously it's important to you, so you're passionate about your business, but it actually has true effects.
Oh, I mean, the effects of it, I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't have the effects. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it like you said, it's an internal effect. And it does a full body flush. I mean, it basically creates the fight or flight mode of the body, and the responses of the fight or flight responses, and basically all the blood rushes to the core of your body. In a nutshell, it protects all your organs, and then just does a full body flush. And what it does is all your internal components. You know, they're having the right blood circulation, and they're getting the right nutrients that you put into your body, and they're distributing it throughout your body correctly, which is intent of, you know, you're gonna have healthy skin, you're gonna feel good, all your aches and pains are gonna go away, and it's a daily process, and for me, you know, everybody's different, right? So if I come in here, I have a lot of inflammation in my body. I mean, I beat my body up every single day, work out, throw, you know, and for me, it helps me during the season. It helps me recover as quickly as I possibly can, and gets me back out on the field.
Yeah, that's awesome. The interesting thing is most people don't think about the recovery aspect. Now, pitchers are probably the most apt of how important recovery is of almost any sport, because, you know, like Wellesley, who lives here in San Diego, he had like his own programmatic way of how he pitched because of the rotation that he was on, and he knew how his recovery worked, which was odder than anyone else's. And I don't suggest opening a business how Wells treated himself. But, you know,
he's my neighbor. I know Wells pretty well.
I figured you did. And I'm talking about David Wells, by the way, for those that aren't big sports fans. He's awesome. But for me, I you know, people looked at me because I study sleep. Because to me, you know, 6 to 8 hours of my life every day is spent recovering. And a lot of people don't realize that if you don't take care of the recovery side of things. In fact, I'm on the Olympic committee, and as a board member, even the Olympic athletes who are all about training, right? Colorado Springs Training Center, it took them years because they trained at altitude. What they didn't realize, though, they were actually damaging our athletes because they weren't recovering as fast at altitude. So they had to build this whole building that put it back to sea level so that they work out at altitude, recover at sea level. Yeah. I think about the same things here, is that it's not just the workouts that we do. This place lets you recover so you can get more benefit from the lifestyle that you lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beauty about our place is it's so convenient, right? So like, I mean, just the everyday worker, man. I mean, the guy who works, you know, an 8 to 5 job and doesn't have the time to rehab. And that's what's beauty about our place here, is that you can come in here and do some Normatex. You can come in here and do some infrared sauna. You know, if you like the heat, also some cryotherapy as well. And it's quick, it's easy, it's very convenient. You know, so that's one of the things I love about our space, is the fact that it is convenient. I don't have time to go do physical therapy for an hour and a half over at a physical therapy place, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. Like those, you know, I have a bunch of friends in the industry, and they're definitely a much needed situation. But if you don't have time to do things, I mean, this is a great way just to have that daily process and daily recovery. And like you said, these Olympic athletes, they have to recover, and so do any athlete. And it's not just athletes; it's just humans in general. I mean, you have to have a certain amount of hours of sleep every night. You have to have a certain amount of rest and recovery. All the toxins that you're putting into your body, you have to be able to flush them out somehow, some way, in order to, you know, be as healthy as you possibly can and have that energy every single day to bring it, whether you're going to work or whether you're an athlete and going to play on the field. And for me, when I go and play on the field, I want to maximize my energy. I want to maximize the, you know, how I perform on a daily basis, and if I'm not doing myself an injustice. So yeah, definitely this is an amazing spot.
One of the things that you mentioned is the efficiencies, for example, cryotherapy and other methodologies that you use here. But I know, being around locker rooms, training facilities of all sports, professional, minor league, et cetera, one of the big issues, believe it or not, for everyone is recovery systems for time. So there's only so many ice baths.
That's right.
Right? And no matter who you are, you know, there's nothing worse than having to sit around to wait for one. Then you have to be in there at least 20 minutes.
It's miserable.
Right? Man. It's miserable. And that's at the highest level.
I can't stand ice baths.
And then it's kind of nasty because people don't realize the sanitary side of cryotherapy.
Yeah.
Right? You're not sitting in the same water, because they're not, you know, when you go to an ice bath, they're not emptying it, redoing it, and putting it, right? And people don't realize, and this is at the professional level before, there's a lot of conveniences.
We don't need any faticulitis, man.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any dangers of cryotherapy?
You know, I mean, there's no real dangers to cryotherapy. I mean, obviously, if we weren't running our ship correctly, you know, there is some danger, but I mean, there really is no dangers. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a.
As long as you don't dunk your head and keep it underneath.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not, you know, breathing in the air. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's again, we run our ship as clean as we possibly can, and the girls and Brandon do a great job over here. Brandon's my manager, by the way. They do a great job over here of keeping the facility available, but there's no real dangers to it, no.
Yeah, and it's interesting because people say, you know, look for things in sports that are dangerous. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Are you going?
Walking is dangerous.
Right. I was going to say, well, the ice bath. So an ice bath. No one ever in history has said an ice bath is dangerous. Yeah. But if you sat down at the bottom of an ice bath, you would drown.
Absolutely.
No one just sit at the bottom. Like I just
the same thing.
Exactly.
The same thing.
Now, there's fear in everyone. Right? I love dealing with the ego because great pitchers, great athletes learn to get out of their own way. There's, I believe, a ton of athletes that you played with that physically were probably equal to your skill set, but weren't as mentally ready to pitch.
It's all mental, man.
You know, and it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What mental effects does the cryotherapy in your facility give to people? You
know, the one thing that we have always knew but really didn't understand, because we never really had any patients in here, but one of the things is depression, man. I mean, and is a big thing for cryotherapy. I mean, we have people come in here that have a slight case of depression, anxiety, things like that. I think what it does is it just kind of gets you back into that mode and gets you that energy and releases all the endorphins in your body and really gives you that pick me up, you know. And at the end of the day, I think mentally, it's more of a routine to everybody to say, look, dude, this is my blood's flowing correctly. I come in here, they're sleeping better. I mean, here's the thing, right? So sleep is everything, right? So this is what we always say: sleep is everything. And I mean, the first time I ever went in cryotherapy, the number one thing that I said was I had amazing sleep last night. And not only did it help my knees and my back and my arm, my shoulder. I mean, my shoulder was about ripped off the bone, it seemed like. And I was pitching in Texas for the first time. But it at the end of the day, I think it helps your mind, helps your body, helps you recover, and really just feel good, man.
That's awesome. No. Talking about feeling good, we were talking about building a business, and you said, yeah, the first couple of years are a little bit more stressful than we are now. We're starting to. Why do you think it is that athletes, live this life where they work since the time they were 5, 6, 7, or 8 to get to a level of professionalism, and yet they go right into business and think year one, they should be stepping on the mound throwing 90-mile-an-hour sliders or something, because it does take a lot of trial and error.
I think the main thing is that you work so hard your whole life to get to the top, right? And for me, there's no other level than Major League Baseball, right? There's no level past that. So, I mean, I haven't won a World Series. I've come close to a World Series, lost in Game 7 and in Game 5.
Because you played for the Padres too, man. I'm sorry. And, I wish you won a World Series.
Padres are going to be good, man.
Yeah.
Padres are going to be good. I think
Robbie Erlin's a good friend.
I think they're doing a good job, man. I think in the next couple of years, I think they'll surprise.
The farm system's huge.
Yeah. I guess thanks to me, since they traded me for Tatis, but anyways, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we went to the top, right? So then when you get into business as an athlete, you've already been to the top, so you want to stay on top. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you have to go backwards first before you can be successful. You have to fail to succeed, right? So I mean, that's the whole thing. You have to fail to succeed, and I'm a big believer of that. But when it came to the cryotherapy business and what we have here with Normatex and infrared and all that, we knew it was going to take a while because we had to educate people, and I knew it was going to take a long time. We're in year 3 now. We're definitely picking it up, and it's definitely, the train's running right now. So, but we just had to educate everybody. No one knew what it was. I mean, we had people walk by here and they're like, "What is cryotherapy? What is that?" And then you mentioned, freezing cold. A lot of people don't like it, but at the end of the day, it's only 3 minutes. You know, 3 minutes is gonna. If I can do something for 3 minutes to help with the benefits that it has, I'm in for it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I've lived my life in efficiency, productivity, accessibility. All right, well, you do a lot with charity as well. And so last question, the most important thing, as is what we leave and give back. What legacy do you want to leave, with all you've done in sports and business and philanthropy, and what legacy do you want to leave when it's all said and done?
I think at the end of the day, I just want people to know how hard I've worked and just know me as a good dude. You know? I mean,
very San Diegan of you. Just know me as a good dude.
I mean,
exactly.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of successful people that people don't like. And I'm a fun guy to be around. I feel like my energy that I bring every single day has contributed to my success, and your
humility,
life, man.
like your humility. I deal with a lot of athletes, and I can always tell in minute number 1 when a guy's just smiling, he doesn't take himself too seriously. You're a completely humble person that put others first.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. I don't try to do it. I just be myself, man. And at the end of the day, if people think I'm a good dude and I'm good fun to hang around, and I think that's all I really want to have a legacy for.
Well, right on. Well, I look forward to hanging out with you for a few minutes when I'm down here, at least 3.
Yeah,
coming in.
Come on in, man.
I'm all over this stuff. Well, I'm excited. This is James Shields, super entrepreneur and athlete, here with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.